child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. What is an example of this that you've seen or experienced firsthand? I guess I would count as one of those kids who burned the village down. My name's Claire, and by 19 I'd had enough of my family. My entire childhood was like walking barefoot over glass. Every conversation was a test I could only fail. Every mistake proof that I was exactly who they said I was. Lazy, incompetent, ungrateful. It wasn't physical abuse. It was smaller, quieter things that added up over years. My grandmother would compare me to my cousins, her favorite line being, "You'll never be as put together as Sophie." My uncle called me the charity case when I couldn't afford new clothes. My dad, he just laughed along with them. I think he believed it was harmless teasing. It wasn't. It wore me down until I stopped talking much at all. Domestic tasks were their favorite weapon. They'd mock me for not knowing how to do something, but when I asked to be shown, they always brushed me off. "Your school should be teaching you that," or "You should know how to do that by now." It wasn't about teaching, it was about control. They wanted me dependent. They wanted me trapped. I didn't know it then, but they were planning their futures around that dependency. My dad and grandmother were both convinced that one day I'd be the one taking care of them. The irony is that they made sure I had no tools to survive, but expected me to be their caretaker. I remember my grandmother once saying, "You'll learn all this eventually when you have to take care of us." It wasn't a question. It was a statement of ownership. By the time I got my acceptance letter to university, I'd already decided I wasn't going to tell them everything. The uni didn't require me to live on campus, but I lied and said it did. I needed space, even if it meant manipulating my way into it. My aunt, the only one who ever defended me, gave me my birthday money early so I could pay the deposit. She looked proud of me when she handed it over. I still feel a sting of guilt about that. Moving into student accommodation felt like stepping into sunlight for the first time. I didn't know how to use a washing machine, and I had to Google it. I burnt my first 3 attempts at cooking pasta. I forgot to separate my laundry and ended up with pink socks. But every mistake felt like proof I was learning, proof I could exist without them. About a month into living there, I got into a fight with my dad over the phone. He started with his usual passive-aggressive tone, asking if I was coping without his help. I snapped. I told him that I'd been coping without his help my entire life, that everything I knew I had to teach myself because no one else ever bothered. The line went silent, then he hung up. That was the moment I decided I was done. Cutting them off wasn't dramatic. I just stopped answering calls, stopped replying to messages. I blocked their numbers, deleted old voicemails, and stopped checking the mailbox for handwritten guilt trips. The first week was terrifying. The silence was too loud. The second week was better. By the third week, I realized I could breathe again. I thought I'd prepared for the consequences, but I hadn't. My rent was covered until the end of my first year, and after that, I had no plan. My mental health was already in pieces, and I didn't know how to balance coursework and a job. There were nights when I'd sit awake staring at my ceiling, wondering if I'd just thrown my future away. But things somehow worked out. I found a small grant that helped me stay enrolled. A classmate helped me find part-time work in the library. It wasn't glamorous, but it was enough. I stumbled through one semester at a time. I graduated 4 years later. The day I walked across that stage, I didn't look for anyone in the audience. There wasn't anyone there for me, but it didn't matter. I'd done it. Now I work in the healthcare system. I rent a small apartment, nothing fancy, but it's mine. Some nights when I'm folding laundry or cooking dinner, I catch myself thinking how proud my mother would have been if she'd been anyone else. I don't regret cutting them off. They built a village out of cruelty and called it love, and when I left, they lost everything they thought they owned. My aunt still sends cards sometimes. I never reply. I don't think they ever understood that you can't starve someone of affection their whole life and then expect them to feed you when you're hungry. So I walked away, and I never looked back.